I would highly, highly recommend our upcoming freshmen to reach out to people if they are struggling in any way. I always say don't suffer in silence. Always, always reach out to someone for advice, for suggestions, to get help. If you're just unclear about something, reach out. Ask someone who you trust, an adult, what can you do? I would advise learning breathing techniques. I would advise finding things that distract you off of things that you're struggling with, positive influences. There's a ton of resources out there, and we would love to help anybody who's struggling because we've been there and we understand, and we just want to be support for anyone who needs it.
Okay, advice for self-care and coping mechanisms for freshmen. I'd say the first thing I would do would be to establish a good routine to your week and include just basic things. You know, when people are stressed out, I always ask just like, have you eaten today? Did you get enough sleep? Those things are just, they're so basic, but if you don't get enough sleep or you don't just put good nutrition in your body, you're not going to be able to deal with the stress. It's going to make it very difficult, and you're going to be even more emotional than you want to be. And then I think another just key thing to dealing with difficulties and challenges in life is to have a huge support system. So, freshmen, if you can reach out, get involved in a club, a group of some kind, maybe you're involved in a sport, especially if you have fall sports. I think that puts freshmen at an advantage because they're able to be here even before the school year begins and start making those relationships. But when you're having a bad day, you want to be able to go to a true friend that you can trust and rely on and that has your back. And I think that's probably one of the best self-care things that you can do is having some strong friendships. And then, 20, 30 years later, you can look back at your high school and that's what you're going to remember, those friendships and those great memories you made. But yeah, self-care, eat, sleep, and try to make some good friends and set a good routine.
I would think that one of the best things people can do when they're entering the high school in terms of self-care is to find their people and their group that is going to be able to support them through all of the different things that they're going to go through in the 4 years that they're here. And just find their niche, something that they're interested in, some way that they can connect themselves to the high school itself. Because connection is really what helps us to get through anything.
The question was, what advice do you have for up-and-coming freshmen about self-care and coping mechanisms? It's actually a loaded question. So the advice that I have to freshmen about coping mechanisms and self-care is, well, a couple of things. One, get involved. People who are involved in the school oftentimes have a higher probability of, meeting people, figuring out friendships, having people they can rely on, so on and so forth. Be aware that friend groups can change. I think a lot of the stress over the course of years, students matriculate, friend groups change, and that could be very stressful, on a lot of people too. Manage your time. Don't be afraid to challenge yourself. Stay focused on yourself and your goals. It's okay to be by yourself too. I think people think that they need to have somebody in order to validate who they are. And sometimes you just get out and make plans with new people. So if they understand those things, these things will help you be great coping mechanisms and will, be self-care tips and tactics. Get proper rest. A lot of people want to stay up all wee hours of the night and they may get 4 or 5 hours of sleep for whatever reason. It could be TikTok, it could be Instagram, it could be video games, it could be just talking to their significant other, whatever the case may be. But get proper sleep and proper rest. Focus on health and nutrition. A lot of people's health is very, very bad and the nutrition is bad. Up your water intake and make sure that you watch, what you eat. Be active. Have some things that you want to do. Go on some walks. Be active in sports. Just take a lot of self-care on the physical development, what I'm saying, as you matriculate, from your freshman year to your senior year. Have stress outlets. I oftentimes ask people, what's your favorite ice cream? What's your favorite food? What's your favorite movie? Some of those things that I've asked, they haven't eaten their favorite ice cream or watched their favorite movie in years. Take some time and do something that, brings a smile to your face. Practice self-care. Whatever, what I'm saying, you define as self-care, practice it often. If it's, getting in a cold tank after a game, or, putting on that proper facial care products or whatever, getting your toes done, getting your nails done, whatever that you consider would be self-care, I would practice that often. Find connections. It's always good to have people that you care about, that love you and have a good rapport with. Good friendships are often hard to find, and if you find somebody that you connect with, stay connected with them and be there for them as well. Time management is key. The one thing we can't get back is time. So once it's lost, it's lost. So have effective time management. Stay organized. I am somebody that is not organized at all, but the older that I've gotten, the more that I've done like color coding and organization, which helps me alleviate a lot of stress. The organization is very, very, very key to me. Practice positive thinking. I oftentimes say that if you say I'm sick 1,000 times a day or in an hour, you're going to be sick. But if you oftentimes tell yourself some positive things, it'll have a good rapport and help you, along the way. Trying mindfulness exercises, breathing tactics, the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 mindfulness tactics. Find those things that work for you and practice